This week we're reading Love in the Afternoon by Lisa Kleypas, otherwise known as You Swallow It Because It Tastes Good.
Hi, readers. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to Not Another Heroine, the book pod where we celebrate the heroines we love
and roast the ones we don't. We'll be your TBR FGMs.
Fairy godmothers.
And find you the best 5-star reads, the spiciest romance, and save you from the overhyped DNFs.
So grab your favorite drink and get cozy. Welcome to Season 3.
I have joined the dark side, it feels like. I've been corrupted in the opposite sense of the word.
I need you to confess what you told me before we turned the mics on. Just how long have you been reading?
Yeah, so I have completely disregarded all adult responsibilities for the past probably 36 hours to go on a crazy bender of historical romance books. I have gone off the deep end.
3 back to back, right?
Oh, yeah. I forgot what book that we were doing today because I am 3 books in the future of this one. This was, 4 stories ago, but I am enjoying the ride. This is insane.
I have been preaching the gospel of Lisa Kleypas to Katie readers for years at this point. And finally, it took a romantasy book slump for us to finally cave and okay, maybe. But
Yep.
see, I'm not exactly surprised because you liked Sherry Thomas quite a bit.
I did, yeah. I feel like there's just something very approachable about the way that Lisa Kleypas writes. I don't wanna not insult her, but I would compare it to, Allie Hazelwood or Sarah J. Maas, just that very, easy, approachable, you get consumed immediately. But, if you added, a degree or 2 of, class to it, fanciness.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you
Yeah.
mean. It very much because when you go into the subreddit for historical romance, it's Lisa Kleypas every single time. And it's kinda like a given if you read in that genre, obviously you've read Lisa Kleypas because she's the queen. Nobody tops her. And, even her weird ones, the one-off characters are still really good. Even her worst book is better than many, many others out there.
Yeah, dude. This was such a a fresh breath of fresh air. I'm not obviously, I can't talk. I've consumed, 1,000 pages of historical romance. But, after all of the craziness that we have been trying to consume, reading this was "Ah!" Insane.
Espe with Kiss of the Basilisk as our starting point and then going into Love in the Afternoon, it's going from, I don't even know, McDonald's to the fanciest 5-star steakhouse you've ever
Michelin star.
Yeah.
It's not even not even that. Kiss of the Basilisk was, not even a book, and then you, go to this and you're like, "Oh, this is, an actual book." I was eating cardboard. It wasn't even food.
It wasn't even real.
Ugh.
So, maybe a little bit of background on Lisa Kleypas and her, catalog because she's got so many books out there, it's really easy to get overwhelmed if you are just starting out.
Me.
Yeah, where do you start? So, I think depending on what you like is kind of where you want to start in her, her collection because what I recommended to you, Love in the Afternoon, is kind of middle of the road before she started doing even her last 5 to 10 years of books. This is about 10 years old, I think, at this point. And so it's before she kind of got into some of the the faults we see, which is very cookie cutter plots and characters and nothing to she kind of lost some of her sparkle.
Yeah.
Yeah, in her more recent books.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think, 'cause I haven't read a lot of her more recent ones. They just did not jive with me. But her Wallflower series is really well known, and I'd say that's probably the one that's recommended the most. And then the Hathaway series, and that's the book that we're talking about today. And I think it's
Mhm.
the 3rd or 4th book in the Hathaway
This is,
series.
the 5th book in this.
Oh, okay.
I was very distraught. I had to, turn my brain off, not think about it too much because it was, number, 4 or 5, and I was like, "I have never in my life just jumped into a series. What the fuck?"
But it's like Bridgerton where all the side characters have their own story, so you really can read out of order, and then sometimes you want to read the other stories more because you know a little bit more about them.
I immediately like, I finished this one and I was like, "Okay, I will add the next, the previous 4 books in this series to my TBR immediately because I wanna know how they got together." Especially, one of the sisters that ends up marrying,
The
um,
hotel owner, right?
Traveler? Oh, no, the, like, super,
Oh, Camp.
Romany. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, and that's the, like,
Harmony
the super
too.
blonde, gentle that is Seduce Me at Sunrise. I don't know this catalog at all.
I love that. You have, like, all the receipts. You're like, "Okay, this one."
But what's really fun about this author is that she has a heroine and a trope for everybody. So if you don't like, our heroine here in Love in the Afternoon is, like, the Snow White, like, loves animals and a little quirky, and if you don't relate to the quirky girl, you're like, "No worries, we'll get you an Ice Queen
Yep.
or, a diamond," right? And you'll
Mhm.
be just fine.
Yeah, because I followed this one up with what was the next one you recommended to me? The different
Um,
series.
Then Came You, I think?
Yeah,
Let me pull
Lawless
that one
Lily?
out.
Yeah,
Yep, that's this
she is,
one.
like, crazy party girl, socialite, one of the boys, but, like, hot about it. You could not get 2 different heroines. So, really, she's got something for everybody.
Doesn't she dive off like, a sailing pleasure yacht?
Yeah,
So
at
oh,
the
yeah,
very
okay.
straight into the water, and everybody's like, "I can see, like, your whole body right now," and she's like, "Oh, heh heh, whoops." Yep,
Yeah. It's
correct from that book.
it's wild, and a lot of her scenes just stick with you, like, you may not remember the whole story, but there are scenes in various books of hers, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that is definitely. I'm reading this book for that scene again." And
Mhm.
we have a few of those scenes in Love in the Afternoon.
Oh my god, the barn scene, I think
Mm.
about it, like, probably 3 times a day now.
The barn scene and then the scene with the confrontation
Oh
where
my
he finds out,
god. Yeah.
all in my head.
Oh, jeez, Lord, save me. And I feel like that's a good segue too, because there is I think I was surprised by how smutty some of the scenes were. Like, I thought historical romance was, like, a lot of, like, flowery language, but it was, like, fade to black, but no, these are, like, pretty explicit scenes, but they're not vulgar, which is crazy. I didn't know that you could do it, and then I read it, and I was like, "Oh, okay. It can be done."
I think that's what makes it really hard if you are, like, primarily a historical romance reader and you want to get into romantasy, and then you start with
Mhm.
very modern, like, all of these new romantasy books that are coming out that tend to have more spice. It's jarring because, yeah, there's spice in historical romance very explicitly, but they somehow manage to pack it up and sell it as "Oh, it's meant to be," and, like, there's, like, a haze around the scene a little bit,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
kinda like a movie.
What is Top Gun? All of the, like, hazy white curtains during the awkwardly long sex scene in that movie, same concept.
And I don't know what the difference is because, you've got body parts moving in both, like, romantasy and historical romance, and you know exactly how they're moving, but, like, somehow one feels cleaner than the other.
Yeah, yeah. It's I was surprised by the detail, but it didn't feel gross. Because especially after coming out of after, like, Kiss of the Basilisk, I was like, "No, I would like
A
something spice
claw?
black. I don't wanna." No. But yeah, I was surprised. So I feel like that could also be like a not a turn off for some people, but I feel like that was a little bit of my like, I don't know how I feel about historical romance because I was like, I didn't know how much like I knew it had a lot of romance, but not, like spice. But if that is girl, don't worry. These have you covered.
And what's really nice is it really focuses in on the romantic tension, like,
Oh my
that
god, dude.
the will they, won't they, the tension drives the entirety of the book, which that's a complaint of ours in many of these romantasy stories we're reading is that there's no romantic tension. It's either, "Oh, we want to go have sex in a cave," or, "We're gonna go fight some bad guys." And there's, like,
Mhm.
no tension in between.
Yeah. I think it was crazy that all of these books, I was like, "Okay, yeah, like, they're having a smut scene," but, like, I still wanna know how, like, the romantic relation, like, figures itself out, like, get back to the plot, please, like, "Okay, cool, cool, cool." Which is insane. I don't think I've ever, like, thought that for a book.
And that's what's weird to me because when I'm reading fantasy, especially books that are, like, mostly fantasy with romantic subplot, I'm always, like, wanting the reverse. I'm like, "Okay, give me more romance, like, give me that tension that is missing over and over again." So,
Yeah.
maybe we just stay with maybe we become a historical romance podcast.
Honestly, like, at this rate, I am all in. I'm, like, 4 books deep. I'm starting to, like, develop my favorite tropes, you know?
Oh, that's true. Because what did you ask me a couple days ago?
Oh, I want where the heroine doesn't think that she's, like, hot enough for the guy or, like, they'll ever end up together. But now I'm kinda steering into the, like, the guy doesn't think he's good enough for the girl. I am devouring this one with, like, a, reformed rake, grew up in the gutter, and now he's, like, the richest man in England, but he doesn't think he's worthy at all. Oh my god, dude, I'm eating this shit up.
Okay, so that if you love that trope, Stranger in My Arms is one of her more it's probably her most outlandish plot-wise. Like,
Mm,
it's strange. You have to suspend belief for this book, but if you are all over, like, the guy doesn't think he's good enough, but he's going for the girl anyway, oh my god, this book. And
already
also the
got it
girl,
PR.
like, in Stranger in My Arms, she does not feel good enough for anyone because her family treats her like shit. Um, it's it's so good. Okay, we have to talk about Love in the
I
Afternoon at some point.
Oh god, because this one, I don't know that I loved the heroine, but, like, reading the romantic storyline of her and the main character, like, I was rooting for them. Like, it's crazy that you can, like, not totally, like, jive or, like, really understand the main heroine, but, like, sign me up. Y'all need to be together.
It was well, especially with the letter writing trope at the
Mhm.
beginning too. But it's interesting that you point out, like, Beatrix as a, like, not quite likable or, like, relatable character because I was looking up some reviews and a few people had the same comment, which was, like, Beatrix is, like, a little out there, like, Disney princess archetype a little bit, like, "Oh, like, she's beautiful but weird, okay, so,
Yeah.
like, are we gonna do a '90s, like, teen makeover movie with her?" Was kind of the vibe, and she gets the guy in the end. It's pretty
Mhm.
predictable. And our himbo, who's not a himbo because he's
God, I love him.
tragically scarred from war.
I feel like the timing of this was really good because I had just gotten to the part in Downton Abbey where Michael, the guy who is standing to inherit the whole house or whatever, he gets, like, crippled in World War One. So I was like, "Oh, I already have, like, in my brain, he's, like, tall, brawny, blonde, like, okay, next."
Do you recognize that actor as the guy who played Beast in the live action Beauty and the Beast?
You're fucking joking. What?
No. Mhm.
I am Googling this right now. You're joking.
No, I'm not.
The Beast.
This is a live
Images?
reveal, readers. You're welcome.
Uh, man, care actor. I don't know how to Google things. Oh my god! What? Wow! Oh, they were slandering him. They're like, "Oh my god, he's not that hot, is he?" You apologize to him right now.
Oh my
Wow, that's
goodness.
crazy. How is he still so young?
I don't know. Golden blonde beauty.
Wow. Good for him. Okay, wow.
See, he kinda does fit the Christopher Felon like,
Yeah.
description, but I was just shoving my brain towards Daniel Craig in this role.
Whoa, I could see that too. Oh my god. Because I just love that he was kind of a dandy at the beginning. That was, like, his, reputation was he was, like, a smart aleck and would always make, like, these kinda snotty comments, high in his instep. Is that
Yep. Well done, Katie.
okay? Hoo-hoo.
You really have been reading a lot of historical
Dude,
romance.
I God. But then all of a sudden he goes to war and he, finds out that he's, kind of good at it, and he's like, "I just want to take care of my men. Want to take care of them. We have to all make it out alive," and then he turns into a national hero. Love it. But then he's
So
also, upset about it.
which is nice that he's conflicted and he has so much I do think the hero in this story has way more growth than Beatrix does.
Yeah.
Like, he drives the story, and Beatrix is just like a vessel for the reader, I think,
Mhm.
kind of fleshed out. So, for the setting by the way, now that you are reading so many of historical romances, this is how you get educated on history, like, you don't
I was about to say.
that's how you remember all the shit.
Yep. It's kind of embarrassing. I did have to look up who was the Queen of England during the end scene of this book when he gets his award or whatever, because I was like, "Queen Elizabeth is, kind of pretty, why are they, roasting
It
her?" And
was
then I
it
looked up
Victoria?
Queen Victoria. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, okay." Makes sense. A very
Okay.
stately woman.
Tiny. I think she was, like, 5 foot nothing.
Oh, that makes sense then why she was stayed on her horse to give the awards. Because I was like, "That's also a weird detail," but, sure, dude.
Married her cousin, Prince
England.
Albert.
Ew, what? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think maybe 1st
Victoria.
cousin or 2nd cousin. Apparently, he was really handsome, and it was kind of like a there's a whole period drama movie about I think it's called Victoria and Albert, maybe, I don't know.
I feel like I've heard about this, but didn't someone, really beautiful play her?
Oh, yeah. God, she's
Emily Blunt?
stunning. Yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay. No wonder I was so confused. I'm like, "Why are they, bashing Queen Victoria?" Because Emily Blunt, makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Should we get into the
We
story?
should probably
Yeah,
start.
because we're all over the place. I'm gonna let you drive.
Oh, okay, I am driving this plane. Uh,
Mhm.
flying this plane?
Fly you are driving this plane.
I don't know. Driving the carriage. We start out with one of the most, single-handed immediately ropes you in, and you're like, "Alright, I'm just gonna read this fucking book now." We have the bitchy blonde, beautiful, popular, amazing, frilly princess of a girl named Prudence, who is the, county beauty, and she is, talking about her life and all the social drama, and she's chatting to her friend Beatrix, who is kind of a weirdo, loves animals, and everybody's like, "You're kinda weird, but sure, I'm gonna hang out with you because you
I love
love
how
everything that I say."
Beatrix looks like you. Dark brown
Really?
hair, bright blue
Oh, mhm.
eyes.
I did notice that that's something that, Lisa Kleypas kind of, leans into a lot, bright, beautiful blue eyes, but it's like, where's, what about
The
brown-eyed
brown-eyed girl?
girlies?
Um, so look up Lisa Kleypas if you haven't seen a picture of her. She is stunning, and she,
Oh,
I think, has dark hair and bright blue eyes.
that she does. Oh, she is really pretty. Interesting. It's always interesting when authors are beautiful and then they write about, wallflower heroines.
Mhm.
It's like, "Do you know what this feels like?"
Right.
I have some questions. But anyway, Prudence, she received a letter and she's like, "God, this is so depresso. I don't want to respond to this dude." He was like, "We flirted a couple times at these society balls or whatever, but this letter is depressing." And Beatrix is like, "Okay, that's a little bit crazy to say because he's literally in a war zone. He is obviously asking for a lifeline, talking about how miserable he is and how much he misses you and how he's thinking about you all the time. You should probably write him back." And she's like, I don't think so."
I'm busy. Just I have a ball to go to, but what's wild is in the letter, he says, like, "Hey, I know we only, met at a ball, 1 or 2 times, so, you can ignore me, but also I'm fighting for our country, so maybe don't be a bitch."
Yeah.
Um, and w to, top off Prudence as an awful human being, he's writing about a dog that is, accompanying him and his friend on the battlefield, this cute little terrier. You even get a drawing of Albert the
Yep.
dog.
I love
Um,
that part.
and Prudence was like, "I don't care about a little dog. She is quintessential mean girl."
Yeah, and she's even, like, let him write to me again something, like, nicer and, like, talking more about, how beautiful I am, and then maybe I'll deign to respond. Like, "Dog, you are a not good person, I'm sorry." And so Beatrix is like, "Okay, please, Prudence, like, let me respond for you, like, you can look it over before I send it, you can, we'll use your name, it'll be fine." Prudence is like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever, Beatrix, whatever makes you happy." And so Beatrix writes this beautiful response back, and all of a sudden, he sends a response back, and they go into some love letter exchange, but she is pretending to be Prudence. And
Because also Christopher met Beatrix before at, like, a country
oh,
picnic,
yeah. Oh my god,
and
oh my god.
Beatrix overheard him, like, telling his buddy, like, "Why did that weird Beatrix girl bring her pet hedgehog to a company picnic?" A company picnic is they're on, like, a corporate retreat or something,
Yeah.
but
Honestly, that's what it was, though.
kind of. And
Company
so
picnic.
Beatrix has this, like, well, she doesn't particularly like him, but she feels sympathetic to his situation, so she's kinda writing the first letter like, "Okay, well, like, any human would do the right thing and write this man back." And then she grows to realize through the course of the letters, which I think last 10 months or if not
Mhm.
longer,
It's like a
that
year and a half or something, yeah.
yeah, that he's actually an interesting, caring, kind person.
Mhm. And I love it because the prologue of this book starts with this, like, half-written letter that's like, "You're not or I'm not who you think I am. I can't keep doing this. Come find me when you come back." And it's like, "Okay, why is this unsigned?" And then you realize Beatrix had intended to write this letter because she's like, "Okay, things are getting too serious. Like, I, I'm pretending to be Prudence, but I'm growing these, like, real feelings for you. I need to cut it off." And so she drafted this initial letter that she's like, "Come find me. Like, I'm not who you think I am. Like, it's not really Prudence." And then she's like, "Oh my God, I can't send that." And she crumbles it up and shoves it in a drawer. And then she's like, "Let me write this, like, oh, I'm so sorry, but things are getting a little bit too serious. Like, maybe once you come back, we can, like, discuss, some kind of relationship or something." Signed Prudence, but the one that gets mailed is the one that she initially wrote, where she's like, "Oh, there's some kind of mystery here."
Readers, this is where you kinda have to suspend belief, right? Like, this is probably the weakest plot point you've ever read in your entire life, but you swallow it because it tastes good. That felt a little dirty.
Um,
But but really there's no other way for, like, to initiate like, I've seen the letter writing trope where you don't have, like, a trigger like this one to
mm,
and it takes way longer for the recipient to figure out the mystery letter sender, and there has to be
oh,
some other external factor. So this is definitely, like, a mechanism to shove the plot along, I think, but
yeah.
I think it's fine.
I ate it up.
Yeah, like, no,
I
dude.
immediately suspended disbelief.
And that is that unrequited, like, Beatrix believes that he wouldn't ever love her because she's weird and he doesn't think she's attractive, et cetera, and Prudence is the best thing ever. So, yeah, I'm a sucker for that trope. I love the, like,
It was
"Give me a
funny.
hair."
As soon
Go
as
ahead.
I started it and I saw the letters, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's why Jordan recommended it."
Mhm.
Oh.
But so there's, like, little niggling hints that are dropped throughout the course of the letters that make their way throughout the book, and one of those is the story about Hector the mule.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh.
Which is what leads us to the stable scene later, and we'll wait on that.
Mhm.
But just remember, in the
Ta-da!
letters, they talked about Hector.
Mhm.
So yeah, and then he returns
Yes,
to
yeah. And in the meantime, so his older brother was supposed to be lord and, like, take over running their, like, lands or whatever. That's the part that I am still learning here. But his wife, Audrey, is best friends with Beatrix. And Audrey starts to, like, kind of suspect. She's like, "Why are you the one that's sending all these letters allegedly from Prudence?" And, like, I don't wanna accuse you of anything, but, like, Prudence is in London, and all of a sudden you have a response in this letter that's signed from Prudence. Like, "Girlie, I'm gonna, like, sing through this plot line." But she's like, "No, what? You're my friend, like, I'm not gonna say anything."
Well, and as if you don't hate Prudence enough, Prudence is totally okay with Beatrix pretending to be her for this long of a period because Christopher is doing so well in the war, like winning medals left and right and saving his superiors and saving everyone and like winning like battles single-handedly because that's how it worked back then.
Yep.
And so she finds out about all of this, Prudence does, and she's like, "Well, now that he's a war hero, like, I mean, we're a good match. Like, I'm popular, he's gonna look good in his uniform. Like, why wouldn't I take him now?" And this is what causes the rift in Beatrix and Prudence's friendship, because they did have kind of like a very surface level friendship because Beatrix is described as this very open and welcoming and empathetic kind of person who doesn't really judge people. And I could see someone like that maintaining a friendship with someone like Prudence because they're just accepting and they don't judge. And even people like Prudence need friends. But this is the trigger for Beatrix to be like, "I think I need some space from you because you're a bitch."
Yep.
I replaced the word I was actually gonna say.
That was a good, B for C switch out.
Yeah.
So his older brother dies from consumption, which is tuberculosis,
I'm glad you looked that up because I had no idea.
I think. Um, some sort of disease. He dies. Audrey's sad, but that also means that
Tragic plot point.
sorry.
Death, widow sad, move on. Let's get back to our staple scene.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad because I want to read Audrey's story to find out if she, like, finds love again or whatever, but the end of this book kind of, like, it was yeah, so I don't know that I'll read that one, but we'll see. But anyways, so Christopher comes back and he's, like, all of a sudden, he has to take on all these responsibilities. His mother, like, hates him,
Hates him. It's
which, like, girl.
well, especially
She, like,
since her other son died.
yeah. Crazy.
Mhm.
So Audrey, like, knows that it's been Beatrix sending these letters, and so she's been, like, talking to Christopher, and she's like, "Oh, we can't really hang out now because it's kind of, like, inappropriate. Like, I'm no longer married and you're unmarried, whatever." But, like, what do you think about, Beatrix? And he's like, well, actually, I was on a walk with my dog. And Beatrix is like, oh my gosh, like, I know this dog. And then they meet each other. And Beatrix is like, I am in love with you, but you don't know that I am the one that you're also in love with. You called me crazy at, several instances. I'll just pretend that this is fine. And he realizes that all of a sudden Beatrix got hot while he was
Real
gone.
hot. But he also, like, steps in it a little bit because he's still
Yeah.
kind of trying to shake off being in war for multiple years, and when he
PTSD.
yeah, just a little bit, and when he runs into Beatrix in the forest, like, he has avoided London, like, he returned home, avoided all the crowds, he, like, was supposed to go to dinner with the queen, and he's like, "Nah, man, not today," and so he goes home, and then it's interesting, this style of writing is, like, third person, not quite omniscient because it goes back and forth, like, you get the hero's perspective and you get Beatrix's perspective. So when they run into each other in the woods, you get the, "Oh shit, she's hot," and you also get Beatrix being like, "He hates me."
Yeah. I will say, like, a small, like, segue or whatever, the POV switching, but, like, third person, but not I don't know that I've ever read this, like, style of writing, and I kind of like it, but it's also kind of confusing, like, all of a sudden I'm in someone else's head because 'cause she'll do it to, like, third, like, tier characters too that are, like, watching the scenes. It's very interesting. I don't know that I'm totally on board yet, but
I think that's what spoiled me for the first person POV switching is, like, I'm so
Mhm.
used to this style that, like, being so overtly in, like, multiple characters' heads is just jarring.
I could see that, yeah, 'cause it is a clever way to keep like, you don't have to make up a different voice for a different character. It's, like, all just narrator's voice almost. But it's a little bit jarring at first because 'cause I'm like, "Whose brain am I in right now?"
That's a really interesting perspective because I never would have thought of it that way. I just think of this style as, like, normal third person style, but now
Mhm.
that we have, like, so many stories flooding all genres, especially romantasy, and first person has become such a, like, popular, like, voice, it's
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. diverting from our story, but that was kind of weird, and I'm getting more okay with it, but it was confusing at first.
So I think we need to probably get through the dinner scene where he goes to dinner with her family, maybe?
Oh, yeah, because what was the, like, mechanism to get him to come over to her house?
A couple different things. Well, one, he is determined to marry the woman who wrote these letters to him, and he tells
Oh,
that
right.
to Audrey, like, as overtly as that, and Audrey's like, "Ha, ha, ha, oh, really? Let's see if you,
I
live up to
remember
that statement."
that. I think she, like, legit laughed when he said that, and he's like, "Do you not believe me?" And she's like, "No, I believe you, it's just you're in for a fun treat."
Real treat, yeah. But he also feels bad for having, like, insulted Beatrix, like, inadvertently on their walk, and so he goes over the next morning to apologize. He's planning to, like, knock on the door and be like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. You're still weird, but you're pretty, so I'm apologizing, and now I'm leaving." But he goes over there, knocks on the door. The housekeeper, like, throws the door open, and there's a goat galloping down the hallway of this
I
mansion.
remember this. I because Beatrix also, like, hands him off a baby lamb or something,
Yeah,
and she's like, "Hold this." And he's like,
and
"Excuse me?"
And she's dressed in, like, men's clothes, like breeches and a blouse, and, like, Christopher's like, "I've never seen a woman in pants before. Holy shit, I can see her ass." And he,
Oh
like,
my god.
loses his mind.
This has been in every single one of the books that I've read so far, and I eat it up every single time that they, like, just, like, lose their mind seeing pants on a woman. They're like, "Excuse me?"
It's so much more revealing than a dress or a skirt, like, honestly.
Yeah, which is weird to think about because 'cause you're like, "Oh, jeans are like, whatever," but it's like, you're seeing a lot.
And then so he tries to apologize, and Beatrix like, "Great apology. How about you come in for tea?" And so that's their first, like, "Hey, maybe we can be friends and talk about this." And Beatrix is trying to play it cool, like, "Alright, I'm still in love with him, and this sucks, but I'm gonna be nice and pretend that I'm happy for Prudence, because that's what's going on here."
Yeah.
But I think he has this family tea. He realizes, like, "Oh, Beatrix family isn't as weird as they're I mean, they're weird, but his kind of weird now that he's
Mhm.
returned from war, and he's also a little weird himself." But he goes off to London, to
Mhm.
meet Prudence and track her down during, like, a season, I think, because she's off gallivanting with all her suitors, because that's what heroines do in these books. And he leaves Albert behind, right? Um
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, the, like, maids and servants will be able to take care of him," and Beatrix is like, "Okay, how about you let your dog stay with me? Because he's legit a psycho, like, he needs some kind of training. He also was traumatized in a war zone the whole time you were gone," and he's like, "No, you're not gonna take my dog, like, he'll be fine here." And this was, like, one of those, like, I don't know that I totally believed Beatrix's, like, character because she was, like, fighting him on this, and it's like, he's not your dog. Like, you
This
can't
is
just
a Yeah, this was a weird kind of interaction between Beatrix and Christopher, like, where it it seemed like a plot point that was forced onto us just to make it move
Yeah.
forward, because he tells her no, and if someone told me that they wanted to watch my dogs and I wasn't comfortable with them watching my dogs, and then I found out that what Beatrix does, which is she shows up to his house after he leaves and takes his fucking dog,
Steals her dog.
I would be calling the police, like, "Do
Yeah,
not touch my dog."
yeah.
But this happens for months, so she trains Albert, and it's kinda like this, "Oh, well, if the end result justifies the means," kind of thing, which I don't necessarily agree with, but
Yeah.
he returns from London having met Prudence at all of these balls, and he had the grand revelation after so many hints from his sister-in-law that Prudence, in fact, is an idiot and did not write the letters. So he has not figured out who possibly could have sent the letters after this, though.
Huh. God.
Like, this
I
was weak.
yeah. It was kind of fun though, because like, with the writing style third person, you did get hints in his brain where he's like, "Alright, like, Prudence is kind of a fucking idiot, and, like, some of these letters were very literary. Like, it's not her. Like, I'm gonna find this lady, but, like, who the fuck was writing letters as Prudence and then sending them to me?" So it's like,
With
you get some of his, like
But, like, I kinda thought Christopher should have gotten his act together, because it's
Yeah.
Prudence, and Prudence, like, knows, and she lets on that someone helped her. Like, she's not smart enough to hide it. So when he confronts her, like, "How about you talk about some constellations that you mentioned in your letters?" And she's like, "What are stars?"
I love that part. Jordan is not exaggerating. That was,
She's
like,
so
literally the
terrible.
conversation. He's like, "What?"
And
Oh
then,
my god.
yeah, we get the, like, thing from Prudence was like, it doesn't even matter, like, no one helped me, wink." And then Christopher's like, "All right, sweetheart, like, sure, no one helped you." And this was a weird turn of events too, where he pretends like he hasn't figured out the letter situation with Prudence, kind of implies that he's gonna ask to marry her, and so he kinda strings her along as punishment for playing this game on him.
Yeah, it is interesting because now having read a couple of these, the love interests are always a little bit complicated. I think that's a very generous term.
Toxic would be a nice,
Yeah,
very even word to describe how she does her male leads.
just a little bit. So if you're looking for some morally gray, a little bit toxic, I don't wanna call it dark romance, but, like, there are moments where I'm like,
Jealous, possessive, willing to do, like,
yeah,
morally questionable things to get what they want. Just go
yep,
back 200 years. There, that's fine.
yep." Even some of the, like, romance scenes are a little bit, like, non-Conny, but, like, in a
Oh, don't go too
yeah.
far back into her catalog.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so weirdly, oddly enough, if you were looking for a dark romance that's well written, if squint your eyes, Lisa Kleypas fills that role for you.
This is
But yeah.
this is probably a good place for us to pause because I did not expect for us to go forever about this.
We will find out how his dog back in the next episode, and that is where shit hits the fan, the rock rolls down the hill.
We're sitting at about the 55-60% mark. We're almost there,
Mhm.
readers, and you know
At
what that
the,
means.
yep. The 60%. Wink, wink.
Oh my god. Well,
From our shelf to yours.
we will see you on the next page.
Hi, readers. Like what you've been hearing? Check out the Spice Archive at notanotherheroine.com to see all of our reviews and ratings. And if you'd like to support our growing library, find us on Patreon and get access to exclusive bonus content.
If you'd like to just listen, we post new episodes every Monday and Wednesday on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Thanks for listening.